Morning, good afternoon, good evening, Fabulites. This is Angela with another edition of Notes on the Newsfeed, where I read to you headlines that I'm sending over to my Twitter feed and my Facebook feed that I put off of my news feed. And some of these headlines I might have commentary on, and my commentary may be based on what I read in the article or what I saw when I skimmed the article, or what was on the paragraph following the headline, just the headline itself, or just je ne sais quoi, just how the article made me feel, what it brought up, what I thought. My Twitter feed again is Be Fabulous You. As soon as I get a chance, I'm shooting these articles over to Twitter, to my Twitter feeds. A couple of them may already be on because I started, and I'll drop the link when I get a chance into the description box. But let's jump right in because the news keeps right on feeding. I finally got it right on the first try. It's so exciting. Invisibles, The Invisibles. Author gives a voice to the forgotten slaves of the White House. I really wish the title was Author gives a voice to the forgotten enslaved of the White House. Nuns want to copyright Mother Teresa's famous blue and white sari. Hundreds of, nuns do have businesses. Like their business may be nuns and monks. They may be in the business of making wine. They may be in the business of making cheese. They may be in the business of making communion wafers. Different convents and, groups of, they have like their little hustles. So I guess my initial response was, why y'all trying to copyright? That's in the business lane. Stay in the religious lane, Miss Sister. But we saw the other day, we saw the article about the nuns about a month ago. Well, when we were doing Sister Act, so it might have been longer than that. Who they have business, they sell weed, they grow and they sell weed, right? So I don't know. I guess my initial thought I might have, I didn't read the article. Blah blah blah. Hundreds of German choir boys abused over 6 decades. Report. It's systemic, and it's systemic. It's not just in the United States, but there's something wrong when systemically priests are abusing choir boys. There's something wrong with that whole system, in my opinion. I don't see how that's an isolated case here or there. There's something wrong with that system. And, I feel like people of good faith need to get to the root of what's wrong and correct that if you really are people of good faith. And this ain't nothing new. 6 decades, that's 60 years. Hundreds. I don't know if that's 102. Or is that 200? Is that 900? Then that's just who's in the report or who's reported it. That's a lot of people's lives affected. And then those people go out and maybe they become their abuser. Maybe they become preachers who abuse choir boys. Maybe that's how the preachers got their start, because somebody abused them. But you figure if you're one person, and let's say you abuse one person a year for 20 years, and they probably abuse more than that. That's like 20 people who are sent out into the world, or who are out in the world, who have had this traumatic experience. And so 10 of them are probably going to go on to be molesters themselves. Or 5, even if only 2 go on to be molesters themselves, you've doubled yourself. So it seems like it's like a monster, this, and not just with priests, but, just in general, this whole issue of molestation, it just seems kind of intense to me. India's first solar-powered train makes its debut. Here's why the city that houses Disneyland is not the happiest place on earth. And when I just skimmed the article, it's kind of like you come in as a business into a community and 5 years later, 1 year later, 10 years later, the community is worse off because you're there? What kind of corporate citizen are you? What kind of community member are you? What does that say? What's really going on? One of the things I noticed is that they said that the people's pay is low. So it's sort of like, I would ideally